For centuries, secret societies and hidden rulers have been whispered about in back alleys, ancient texts, and late-night talk shows. At the heart of many conspiracy theories lies the belief that the world is not governed by elected leaders or governments, but by a shadowy, elite 13 ancient bloodlines known collectively as the Illuminati. From the Rothschilds to the Rockefellers, from the Merovingians to the Kennedys, these families are believed to control the levers of global power, pulling the strings behind wars, economic crashes, and even technological advances. This video delves into the world of these enigmatic families, the mechanisms of their supposed control, and the evidence believers point to as proof of their grip on humanity. The idea of powerful families ruling the world from behind the scenes is not new. However, the theory of the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati was popularized by former CIA operative and whistleblower Fritz Springmeier in his work Bloodlines of the Illuminati. According to Springmeier and like-minded researchers, these bloodlines have, for generations, intermarried to maintain the purity of their lineage and consolidate power. They believe that these families are connected to ancient royal bloodlines, occult knowledge, and extraterrestrial beings. Through these connections, they claim these families have amassed untold wealth, influence, and control over every major facet of society, government, banking, media, religion, and science. First on the list is the Rothschild family, often considered the cornerstone of Illuminati control. Originating in 18th century Frankfurt, the Rothschild banking dynasty spread its influence across Europe, establishing financial empires in England, France, Austria, and Italy. Conspiracy theorists argue that the Rothschilds control the world's central banks and use debt as a tool to enslave nations. They are believed to have funded both sides of numerous wars, including the Napoleonic Wars, World Wars I and II, Italy, and even modern-day conflicts. The theory states that by controlling the flow of money, the Rothschilds orchestrate chaos that benefits their long-term goals of establishing a one-world government. The New World Order. Closely allied with the Rothschilds in these narratives are the Rockefellers, the American oil barons who allegedly leveraged their wealth to create a globalist empire. John D. Rockefeller founded Standard Oil in the 19th century and soon amassed more wealth than any man in history at the time. According to theorists, the Rockefellers used this wealth to shape public policy, education, and health. They founded the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, and heavily funded the United Nations, all seen as stepping stones toward global governance. The Rockefeller Foundation is also accused of funding eugenics programs, covert medical experiments, and population control measures disguised as philanthropy. Then there are the Merovingians, who conspiracy theorists claim are the true Holy Grail descendants of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. Theorists argue that the Merovingian bloodline has been kept secret to prevent upheaval within the Christian world. They suggest that secret societies, such as the Priory of Siam and the Knights Templar, were created to protect this lineage. According to the theory, modern royalty, including the British royal family, traces its roots to this divine bloodline. The Merovingians are seen as the spiritual leaders of the Illuminati, guiding its esoteric agenda and maintaining divine authority over other bloodlines. The DuPonts are another family frequently mentioned, their chemical empire viewed as a front for sinister operations. Theorists claim the DuPonts were heavily involved in supplying chemicals for warfare and later redirected their efforts toward genetic modification and pharmaceuticals, subtly influencing public health and human biology. Some even allege that DuPont facilities were used for mind control experiments, such as Macaltra. The Bush family also enters the fray, with George H.W. Bush's ties to the CIA and secret societies, like Skull and Bones, often highlighted. Conspiracy theorists believe the Bushes played significant roles in shaping the post-war global order, particularly through oil politics, military interventions, and intelligence operations. The Gulf War, the war in Iraq, and 9/11s are all events that conspiracy theorists linked to the Bush family's deep state agenda. K. The Onassis family, with Aristotle Onassis at the helm, is frequently discussed in relation to global drug trafficking, particularly in Southeast Asia. Theorists allege that the Onassis shipping empire was used to transport narcotics under the protection of intelligence agencies like the CIA. His marriage to Jacqueline Kennedy, widow of JFK, is viewed as a strategic alliance between bloodlines. The Kennedy family, despite their public persona as American royalty, are said to have run afoul of the Illuminati. Conspiracy theorists believe that President John F. Kennedy's attempts to dismantle the Federal Reserve, expose secret societies, and end the CIA's unchecked power led to his assassination. Many believe that his death was a warning to other would-be dissenters within the elite, proving that even a powerful family like the Kennedys could be neutralized. Another key bloodline, the Collins family, is less well known publicly, but allegedly plays a major role in occult practices. Springmeyer and other theorists assert that the Collinses are deeply embedded in satanic rituals and human sacrifice, functioning as the dark priests of the Illuminati. Their secrecy and lack of public profile are cited as further proof of their nefarious influence. The Lee family represents the eastern arm of Illuminati control. Conspiracy theorists claim that this Chinese family has used their influence in finance, case politics, and organized crime to build a bridge between East and West. Members of the Lee family are said to have high-ranking positions in the Chinese Communist Party, as well as ties to Hong Kong triads and secret societies like the Triads and the Dragon Society. Their alleged role is to ensure that the globalist agenda penetrates Asia, maintaining the Illuminati's reach across all continents. The Bundy family, Dines, and Freemans round out the list of lesser-known but equally influential families. The Bundys, according to theorists, have long held strategic roles within the U.S. government, the judiciary, and the military-industrial complex. The Van Duyn family, rarely mentioned in mainstream history, is rumored to be involved in elite satanic rituals in Europe, including ceremonies at castles and underground locations. The Freeman family allegedly controls legal systems, embedding secret codes in constitutions and laws to enslave the public without their knowledge. The methods of control allegedly employed by these families are vast and multi-layered. One of the most discussed is financial control through central banks, including the U.S. Federal Reserve, International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. These institutions, according to theorists, are not accountable to any government and are used to impose debt, slavery on nations. Another method is through media manipulation. Its theory goes that 6 major corporations control over 90% of the global media, all ultimately owned by members or proxies of the bloodlines. By controlling narratives, they can guide public opinion, distract from real issues, and push their agenda forward unchallenged. Education and science are also seen as targets of manipulation. Theorists claim the families have designed school curricula to breed conformity and suppress critical thinking. Historical revisionism, they argue, hides the bloodline's real influence. In science, breakthroughs that could free humanity, like free energy, anti-gravity, or life extension, are allegedly suppressed, while technologies that promote surveillance and control are fast-tracked. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the conspiracy is the claim of occultism and ritual abuse. According to theorists, members of these bloodlines engage in satanic rituals involving children, sacrifice, and trauma-based mind control. Allegations of pedophile rings, adrenochrome harvesting, and MK Ultra-style programming are common in these circles. High-profile scandals, like those involving Jeffrey Epstein or the Catholic Church, are seen as glimpses into the darker world that the Illuminati supposedly inhabits. The end game, believers claim, is the creation of a new world order, a single totalitarian world government with a microchipped, surveilled population. They point to agenda-setting organizations like the World Economic Forum, Bilderberg Group, and United Nations as instruments for this goal. Events like the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change policies, and global digital ID systems are interpreted as steps toward this total control. Even space exploration, they argue, is a distraction and a means of militarizing the heavens for elite escape plans in case Earth becomes uninhabitable. Despite the breadth and intensity of these claims, mainstream scholars and media outlets dismiss them as baseless. They argue that conspiracy theories like this arise from a mixture of historical ignorance, distrust of authority, and psychological needs for simple explanations to complex problems. However, believers counter that such dismissals are exactly what the Bloodlines want: plausible deniability, ridicule of truth seekers, and control over dissent. In conclusion, whether one sees the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati as myth, metaphor, or malevolent reality, the conspiracy theory persists because it resonates with a deep, often unspoken suspicion that democracy is a lie, that power is concentrated in invisible hands, and that history is not what it seems. For believers, the bloodlines are not just families, they are the architects of a hidden empire. It's the dark aristocracy that decides the fate of billions while remaining unseen. This video has explored that belief in detail, presenting the theories that surround the 13 bloodlines and the mechanisms by which they are said to exert control. As always, the truth may be out there, but in a world governed by secrets, finding it may require looking where others dare not go.